Well, hello, Gertie. Welcome back to another show.
I miss you.
I missed you too.
Yeah, we actually took a little time off last month. We played a show that was a repeat, but one of our most popular shows, the one dealing with the Ho'oponopono, for those of you that watched it, it was mind-changing, and we had more hits on our YouTube with that show than we've had any other. So we chose it again as a repeat while we took the month off and did a little bit of R&R, and I enjoyed my R&R.
I did too. I went to Lake Powell.
Oh, nice.
Which was wonderful.
Nice.
But anyways, we have been kind of like going over some of the same things that we have been talking about, but we've always talked about law of attraction on what we think about.
Right.
And we could actually have the opposite effect on the things that we don't want as opposed for the things that we do want, and people aren't really clear about exactly what to think about. Like, I don't want to be poor.
Right.
Well, the universe only hears poor.
Poor.
They don't hear I don't want.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is a school of thought that we need to kind of explore
And address a little bit more for our viewers and get the information out there.
Yeah.
In other words, we've talked a great deal about the power of thought, how it goes out into the universe, becomes a living entity that creates, right?
Yes.
And so what we're saying is what we focus on, what we don't want, is actually what we end up creating.
Right.
And the universe is our friend, right? It's our friend.
It's a friendly universe.
It's a friendly universe.
And I think when you get into a habit, like everything we do is a habit, we feel like the world is against us, people are against us, but really it's our thoughts, it's our actions, it's everything that we put out. And we actually have 60,000 thoughts a day.
60,000, and how many are negative?
80% of our thoughts are negative, and that's huge. That is huge.
And they've done studies on this. This is not something we just pulled out of the air as far as statistics. They've done many studies on it, and 80% of our 60,000 thoughts a day are negative.
Yes.
That is gigantic.
Yes.
When you think about it.
And they're simple thoughts, like, I'm so stupid. I mean, that's not a simple thought. But we say that, or I can't get this right, or
but
why.
But sometimes the truth hurts, too. It can be, no, that's all that negative self-talk we've talked about. But it's an interesting point because we will say, I've had people say to me, well, I am focusing on positive things. I am saying positive things. And exactly what you said, Onea, they say, I don't want this, or I don't want that. And you're right. We create that.
And being very crystal clear about your intentions and being very crystal clear about the goals you want to achieve. Because if you talk to somebody, you can say, what are your goals that you want? And they can read off 100 things that they don't want, and only give you a few of the things that they truly want.
And very seldom are they even clear about that.
Exactly.
Okay, exactly about that.
Exactly.
And one of the things we have learned is that even the thought patterns go into the cellular level. So your thought, of course, not only creates out in the universe what it draws to you, because our life is really a reflection of us, what we're thinking, what we're creating. If you look at your life, it is a mirror image of what you're creating. So yes, it's very, very important what we put out there, but now we know it goes into a cellular level on a physiological level. And even if you think good health, but you're thinking all these other things, you manifest physical problems, symptoms, illness, all these things. Because we've also learned it's the feeling behind an intention that makes it powerful.
let's focus on that a little bit more.
Dude, let's talk about it.
Because now that the law of attraction's out there, now that people are understanding thoughts become things, they will try really hard on all the things that they want and that really think positively, but they still don't believe it. And it's the emotion behind it. You've got to have an emotion of joy. You've actually got to visualize, like I heard one guy say, I do a happy dance when I achieve that goal that I want.
Right.
You actually need to feel that emotion for it to really manifest.
That's right. So if you're visualization works, because we've talked about this before, that the brain sees in pictures. So visualization is really important to put behind an action or a want or a desire. But the feeling, you visualize yourself already achieving that.
Right.
So if you want to lose 20 pounds or more, whatever it is, you visualize yourself, but you start walking like you're 20 pounds lighter.
Yes.
You feel like you're 20 pounds lighter. It's the feeling that is actually more important than even the thought. But it takes the two. It takes a combination, okay?
It does.
So if you're giving a speech and you want a standing ovation, you see the audience out there giving you a standing ovation and a lot of applause.
Yeah, visualize the whole thing. And don't worry about all the steps that it takes to get there. Just visualize getting there.
The outcome.
Not the obstacles. Because I know for myself, if I'm wanting to go on a vacation, I think the fear sets in. Fear sets in on all the things of, oh, okay, I got to take time off. How am I going to do that? How much
income.
money am I going to have? If I save my money for the trip, then am I going to have money for my bills?
Right.
All these fears, all these insecurities start coming up, and then I diminish my goal. And
the joy of it.
And the joy of it. So that's really important to not focus on how you're going to get there, just the outcome.
Wish, you brought up a good word, and that word was attachment. We actually probably could do an entire show on the importance of releasing attachments and what attachments are. But, for time's sake, we'll just touch on it. Part of spiritual growth, a huge part of spiritual growth, is detachment.
Yes.
And I know from when I've taught classes and stuff, and I bring this up, people always seem a little bit shocked by that when I say detach. Okay, detach. That does not mean you lose compassion. You still have compassion for people, okay, situations. But you're detached from it. That's allowing people to travel their journey, letting, some things just be in divine order, that kind of thing. But when we have attachments to material things, to people situations, by all means love them.
Yes.
By all means, like I say, have compassion and care. But you're also at the same time focused on detachment by allowing them to be, okay? Because judgment takes you out of alignment.
With yourself.
With yourself.
And that's the goal. Because if you're in line with yourself, you can allow other people to be in line with themselves.
Absolutely.
And that's a really hard thing for people to understand, especially if you have children. You don't want them to fall. You don't want them to hurt themselves. You want them to get it. But we as adults had to do our own stumbling to get where we want. And I always say, through my greatest despair was my greatest gift, was my greatest joy at the lesson behind it.
Right. Well, judgment is something that I have to work on continuously. I'm not as bad as I used to be. See, that's self-judgment. And self-judgment is just as important, if not more so, than judging others. And I actually have to be conscious about both. I am, I'm sure I'm not walking on water yet. I'm far from perfect. But,
really?
Yeah, really.
I
Which can be done. But I'm not there. by any stretch of the imagination. However, I recognize that it is something that I need to be aware of. I'm very cognizant of the fact that judgment is one of my biggest character flaws.
Okay.
So just being aware is the first step to a change.
Yes.
Okay.
And the slightest change makes the biggest difference.
Yeah, it's so true. I love that.
And that is really huge for everything in life. It's not trying to achieve 100-pound weight loss in a month, because it didn't take you a month to put it on. So just a step every day in the right direction. It's like that saying or example that I heard, that if you're off a notch, if you're in a ship and you're a captain and you're off just a notch, it will completely take you miles off of your path.
Off your course, off your destiny, your path, whatever.
Yeah, and it's just one slight little
change.
notch.
And the same with our thinking, our mind. Like you say, if, the slightest little change is huge. So to create change, first you have to recognize what the situation is, the awareness of it, before there can be any kind of a change. However, another part of that is acceptance. You become aware, then you accept how it is how it is, and then you can make the change. And my character flaw, the judgment part, is that I'm aware.
Right.
I accept that I have this as one of my, flaws that I'd like to change.
Yes.
I would like to change it.
Yes.
So by that awareness, I'm conscious about it, and I have like this little watchdog in my head now that when I started, it's like it goes off, yip, 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 makes you aware, and then I correct it, and I actually say the words cancel, cancel.
Yes.
Because the brain is our computer,
Right.
and we know that actually we're downloaded from fetal
Yes.
to age 5, just about everything.
We're conditioned from a very young age, because our parents are projecting a reflection of their insecurities onto you unknowingly. We all do it, but I like the fact that you're really focusing on the fact that we should be present and aware. And the truth of the matter is, what we get downloaded with into our subconscious mind is usually, it limits us. Yes.
It's limiting. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, you're not old enough to do that. Oh, you could, can't do this, can't do that. No. And therefore, we become individuals with limitations.
Yes.
We never really soar. We never really spread our wings and fly.
What a shame, because we live in a universe of complete abundance.
Complete abundance.
A friendly universe with so much abundance, there's no lack of.
None. It is there to support us in every which way. However, the limitations that we are programmed with then become, we own it.
Yeah.
We become like a part of it. Oh, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have a degree. I don't have that. We become so limiting in our own mind when, like you say, where really there's an abundance of anything. And just going back to attachments, the bottom line to all attachments is fear.
Oh, with everything. With media, with government, with religion. I mean, there's a lot that can be...
But I mean, like, this is my cup, okay? I want to hang on to this cup. Let's say it's a special cup. I didn't just buy it at some local little store, okay? This used to be my grandmother's cup, so it means a lot to me, okay? Well, I understand that.
Right.
It's very sentimental. It's a family thing. I understand that kind of sentiment. But to be attached to it is a fear of I'm going to lose it. Yeah, it's going to be taken away. I may not have that. Therefore, again, the premise is a fear-based
Yes,
attachment.
right.
Okay, where if we just surrender to
Well, and there's many programs.
surrender to the universe, like you
Right.
say, surrender to that limitless thinking.
Yes, exactly. And that's not an easy thing to do.
No.
I wished I had that fully. I work on that. I think I work on that with myself, just surrendering, just surrendering to the outcome and knowing that it's for my better good if I surrender to it.
That's a consciousness in itself, because when you can start seeing the positive and even perceived negatives, that's a huge consciousness shift. And you know, we're talking about being downloaded, and just about everything we learn is from fetal to 5.
Right.
That is integrated into our subconscious, conscious, physical. But the subconscious is really what rules us.
Okay.
Okay, we can become consciously aware, but that programming from early on is the subconscious mind that really runs things.
Right. And we're not...
Whether we're aware or not.
We're not aware or not. That's why it's so crucial, so crucial to be in the moment, be very present
In the
with the now, like you said, just so you know what thoughts are going through your head. Even just catching yourself, like you said, you know, cancel when you have those thoughts, replacing them with 5 positive affirmations, or I can, I will, I am.
Creating new habits. Creating new habits. And one of the best books I ever read is called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Yes, I've read that one.
It's not an easy read.
It's not, and it's something you have to take in increments. Like you almost have to stop and kind of digest it. But
you have to, in order for you to really get it through, to really integrate it in your consciousness. Unless you're, you know, just miles ahead. That book is just loaded with truth.
Oh, it's,
in my opinion, anyway, it's loaded with truth.
Yeah, I got a lot from it. It really...
I felt like the guy's completely attached. Even when the book first came out, I bought like 10 copies and passed them out to friends, and I said, you know, if you can really grasp a hold of what this is saying and integrate it into your own consciousness, it's all you ever need to know.
It truly is. It truly is.
Doesn't mean you won't ever read another book, but it's really, there.
But there is something to be said with the power of now, because that is the only reality that exists at this moment.
At this moment.
Because the past you'll no longer repeat, and the future is not here yet. So,
and you can't change the past.
And you can't change the past.
What the past is good for is learning.
Yes.
You know, teaches us things. If you want to change things and you don't want to repeat the past, you learn from it. And if you don't, you're doomed to repeat. You know,
I'm going to sneeze.
Are you going to sneeze? Well, bless you.
Excuse me.
Gesundheit. So, yes, absolutely. And, you know, even though we've talked about this a lot and we have done shows on it, you know, this is an extension of when The Secret first came out. They have now things beyond The Secret. And so this is beyond some of the shows we've done.
Yeah.
And it never hurts to be reminded.
Right.
You know?
Well, and the point of this particular show is to really be conscious about the things that you want and really be detached from the things that you don't want, and just keep making it a habit, keep working on it, being in the now. And what was that saying that we heard? If you resist, it persists.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot, because that will be actually one of those things that I'm going to remind myself of, because it's true. If you resist, it persists.
Right.
I think that's powerful.
And that goes hand in hand with you're only thinking about the things that you don't want when you're resisting it. So surrender to it.
And keep creating it. It persists. You keep recreating it, because it's on your mind. It's your thought. So exactly what we're talking about. If you say the don't, it still is a thought.
Yes, it is.
That keeps creating that. So
for me, what helps the most and what really has shifted my life was to not, when I start having those negative thoughts, or when I start thinking of the lack of and the fear of lack of, I start going into complete gratitude. I start and it's simple things. Thank you for my waking up this morning. Thank you for my bed. Things that create bigger and bigger gratitudes for my family, for a job, for whatever it may be that we take for granted daily.
Well, even like we said, the perceived negatives or troubles, when you can even have gratitude for that, because it's a tool, it's a learning tool to change things or learn from, like we just said, the past. I started doing a gratitude list with my granddaughter.
Oh, I love that.
She's 5, and on her way to kindergarten, I'll say, well, what are we grateful for today? I started usually to get the ball rolling, but I've noticed the last couple of times she just jumps right in. She has her own gratitude list.
Great habit to instill
Isn't
in
it?
her.
I think so too. I wish sometimes I had known some of these things when my kids were growing up. I didn't know this stuff.
Yeah, when my boys were younger, I would say, what was the 5 best things that happened to you today?
Beautiful.
Because so many times it's, what did you do today? Nothing. Well, you didn't do anything today. What was the best part of your day? So we would get into the habit of that too, and that really helped them to be conscious and be aware of what was going on during that day for the next day.
Well, so you basically did it.
Yeah.
You started them on a gratitude list. You know, the other thing, when we keep saying the now, being aware of the now, the power of now, being in the present, there is such a thing as the time, internal time and space thing.
Okay.
It goes along with the visualization.
Okay.
So when we're in wanting to project an outcome for something or create it, we have a tendency not to be able to project into that future because we have a built-in time thing.
Okay.
Therefore, again, detach, like even detach from the linear time, because time's not measured like that anyway.
Right.
But it's part of our human makeup.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
we measure
detach from
everything
the
by a
time.
number. And on this planet, we measure everything by a number. Our weight, our time, our days, our
achievements. I've got 10 awards, so I've made 10 house calls today.
Look how big my house is, or look how much I spent. Or,
right.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, and that is very defeating. It can be.
So when we talk about detaching and changing our consciousness and remembering that our subconscious really creates things. So let's go back for just a minute, since the subconscious is really what runs and creates things. In order to release, let's say we become aware of something that maybe you go to a therapist, okay? And nothing wrong. I think therapists are good for people. I personally have never gone to one, but I'm all for it, okay?
Anything,
that helps someone.
Well, to alleviate any blockage, to let you get past the past.
Exactly. So let's say we do go back to something that happened at age 3 to you, and you become aware through therapist or hypnosis. Hypnosis is an excellent tool to help you get in touch with roadblocks in your life, what created them, what's blocking you. So a hypnosis as a tool can take you back into a period of time that created this in your subconscious mind. In order to really shift that, though, is that a good way to put it? In order to really shift that, however, you will have to go back to that point in time to release and change it in the subconscious mind.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's not, well, and it's not that hard to do.
It's not that hard.
It might be hard to do, to make that shift, but it's not hard to find out what that block is, what's blocking you in life to get the happiness, to achieve the success. You know, it was early programming, some kind of a limitation, something you were told. And whatever we are told as children that we are, It's not who we are.
No.
That is a lie. They're falsehoods.
Doesn't define us.
Right.
And it's not even a reality at this moment, because we're not those 3-year-old children or
Exactly.
5-year-old or whatever.
And when I said what we were told is a lie, now if your mother said you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, you can be anything, you can achieve anything, that's a different thing than what I mean, you know.
Right.
When what I'm talking about is when limitations are put into your head.
Right. Well, when they've done studies, and we have 60,000 thoughts a day, and 80% of them are negative.
Right.
There's something to that.
Exactly.
So even if you had the perfect upbringing, something on TV, a magazine, somebody at school could completely shift your way of thinking about yourself, and it's not true.
Not true at all. And it, like you said, it does not define who we are.
No, it doesn't.
We are those limitless, beautiful beings that can achieve anything. So it's all programming.
In a universe full of abundance, and we can have really whatever we want.
Isn't that nice?
Yes, it is wonderful.
I mean, it's really nice when you think that. Just when you say, "Oh, it's hard to get the money," you know, money's so hard to come by, isn't it?
If you say that,
then it's hard.
True. Yes,
and so it's so hard to start savings. I can't ever get a savings account started. It's hard. So what do we say instead? Excuse me.
If I only put $1 away a month, by the end of the year, I'll have 12.
Or it's easy.
Yes.
It's easy to accumulate the money. It's easy to start saving.
Success and abundance comes to me easily and effortlessly.
There you go. Oh, that's a wonderful affirmation, and I hope our viewers wrote that down. Say it again.
Success and abundance comes to me easily and effortlessly.
I like that. And that should be an affirmation that you don't only say once a day, but maybe 2-3 times a day.
All the time when you're feeling self-doubt. And abundance doesn't mean an amount of anything.
An amount of money, an amount of this. It's just abundance.
Just abundance, love, happiness.
You know, sometimes I've even years ago used to put little sticky notes of affirmations on my bathroom mirror. So in the mornings when I got up and, you know, brushed my teeth, put on my makeup, it's right there. So you don't forget. You don't have to constantly, you know, remind yourself. It's right there. Little affirmations, sticky notes. Stick them on the door. Say it one more time.
Success and abundance comes to me easily and effortlessly.
And effortlessly. And
that's what
I'm talking about.